To all the Christian influencers on YouTube and social media in its various forms and ethnicities, everywhere, and all believers on social media. This that I'm about to say may go nowhere or go nuclear. I hope and pray it goes deep. You cannot have power over those you do not love. You think you can exercise authority over those you do not love. That's a mistake of arrogance, the opposite of meekness. You will say that you love them, but your fruit will always expose you. Jesus warned us that truth will betray you. You are deceived on one hand, yet greatly beloved by the nail-scarred hand. You know, or should know, the way to power is not by aggression, but by humility. But your ego-fleshly intelligence must have its say. Okay then, so be it if you insist. You all know who you are beefing with, and starting fights with, hoping to humiliate. Yes, humiliate your target. Is this part of the faith and the way of God? Let a man examine himself as our Master would demand of us. Our very last move is to treat someone as a damned to hell Pharisee, with named attacks on character, while our motive is, or should be, to build relationally or fight for our relationships and seek to save the ones that are broken. But we seem to do the opposite and behave like the very people that are motivated by cultures created by men. Lost, dark-souled men don't make the extreme action of rebuke, the base or main action of rebuke. Beloveds, surely you remember these things? Philippians 1:15-18. Some indeed preach Christ even of envy and strife, and some also of good will. The one preach Christ of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then? Notwithstanding, every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and I therein do rejoice, yea, and will rejoice. Remember that? Do you not understand what gives you the grace empowering you to do what you do? It's the love of God that motivates every single thing that we do. That transformation is so profound it will give substance to our acts of love and power, as well as bring the godly fear and trembling to our corrections and rebukes. But that, as counterintuitive as it may seem, is the way of the mercy and judgment of God, believe it or not, based in the love, the supernatural and infinite love of God. We can't exercise authority over those we do not love. And remember the compassion in the dying words of Christ and Stephen. Remember the lesson of Malchus and the revelational depth of why his story was given to us just before the crucifixion. So you may ask, what am I doing? Reminding you of 2 Timothy 3:16-17. I pray it is correction in love, and if it doesn't land that way, forgive me. Also, what I'm hoping to do is circumvent inadvertent demonic trespassing into our sacred Holy Ghost fire-filled spaces, forgetting that the curse causeless won't come, but giving it cause. The demonic comes by the words we speak. Foolishly let dark things in. Thank God we can access the gifts of the Spirit, build to up ourselves in the Spirit to cast out devils and break curses. The consequence of improperly discerning the Lord's body and crushing the efficacy of our communion. The further consequence that impedes our anointed synergy. 1 chasing a 1,000 and 2 putting 10,000 to flight, and then we'll have to deal with more deliverance and breaking curses and dissolving dark covenants than was necessary because we opened the atmosphere for it ourselves. Please be patient and meek with one another. You all know who you are, as you say unanointed, unkind things about each other that are recorded, and then you have to give an indefensible account for your execution of such things that created hurt, division, and bitterness. Do we align ourselves with darkness and hell? No. Do we rebuke it? Yes. But how is the issue not burning bridges that were built by God to connect his body? Believe in Isaiah 52:8 in all of its prophetic glory. Believe in the John 17 prayer. Believe in Romans 13:8. You all know who you are. Take the deepest dive into the love of God you can, and 2 Chronicles 7:14, your way back to the highest calling we can ever have, so we can all rejoice in the success of each fulfilling our purpose and cooperating in his mission. No, I'm not your apostle. I'm just a father that loves the one family of both heaven and earth to be reached and prepared to live out Revelation 12 verse 11 as necessary. If we recognize that we are in the very last days of man's governmental rule, we must build up as many warriors of Christ and priests of God that compose a royal priesthood and holy nation and not help our adversary by contributing to the enslavement of his thraldom. On the other hand, why not lean in on the opposite attribute that belongs to the Lord and find out how the love of God can, and ultimately the love of God will empower you, will transform you and cause you to be a terror to your adversary the devil and the rulers of the darkness of this world I call the thraldom. Put the enemy under your feet where he belongs and build our dysfunctional spiritual family, rebuking, correcting, and loving each other into perfection, building each other into of the stature of Christ. Please write any thoughts in the commentary, like, subscribe, and come back for a more challenging procession into the ways of God. Here is one way to get started by things God taught me about His love I've recorded in my book God's Love is Different, a biblical theology of the love of God.